Most believers are looking for the wrong signs. While the world is scanning the skies for the rapture, Jesus already pointed to the final sign. And it's not what you think. It's not global chaos or political tension. It's something quieter, deadlier, and already active in plain sight. And yes, most still ignore it. It's shocking how clear Jesus was about this. He didn't hide it in codes or symbols. He pointed to it directly with urgency. But because it doesn't come with thunder or fire, many miss it completely. This final rapture sign isn't about the world shaking. It's about hearts growing cold. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The terrifying truth? This sign doesn't warn that we have time. It confirms that time is almost gone. And while people debate timelines and theories, the separation Jesus spoke of is already happening, quietly, relentlessly, right now. In this video, you're going to discover what this final sign is, why so many believers overlook it, and how it reveals who will be taken and who will be left behind. Stay until the end, because once you understand what Jesus truly meant, your life and your preparation will never be the same. Many are still waiting for a trumpet to sound in the sky or some global catastrophic event to realize the rapture is near. But the truth is, Jesus was clear in Matthew 24:12-13. The love of many will grow cold, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. This isn't some distant metaphor. It's a spiritual thermometer for the present. This cooling of love is like a silent fog spreading, covering hearts, affecting relationships, churches, and even spiritual leaders. You don't need to leave your house to notice it. Just look at how people treat each other nowadays. What Jesus described isn't something dramatic, with fire falling from the sky or seas splitting. It's something far more subtle and devastating, the draining of love. And we're not talking about romantic love here, but the love that forgives, that serves, that sacrifices. When that love dies, coldness takes its place, and with it, spiritual apathy. Many who once burned with faith now barely pray or open the Bible. When this starts happening on a large scale, we're witnessing exactly what he said would unfold before the end. The parable of the 10 virgins in Matthew 25 drives this point home with a striking visual warning. 5 were prepared with oil, which represents the presence of the Spirit, and 5 were not. The chilling detail is that all 10 knew the bridegroom was coming. They were all waiting, but only half kept their flame burning. The final sign isn't just knowing Jesus is coming, it's staying lit until he arrives. That takes constant watchfulness and intentional devotion. And here's where the great deception lies. Many believe that just being in church or knowing prophecy is enough to be ready. But the sign Jesus gave separates those living with burning love from those who simply carry the label of Christian. It's a filter, not a billboard, a spiritual sieve that's already operating, quietly, without headlines. And ironically, that's exactly why most people overlook it. Which brings us to the next point. Most people are glued to the visible. Wars, earthquakes, political chaos, Israel in the headlines. Those are the signs they chase. But Jesus pointed to something far less flashy and far more dangerous: spiritual coldness. It doesn't make the news, and it doesn't trend on social media. That's why it goes unnoticed, even among believers who love prophecy. The problem? We're looking at the sky, but the battle is happening inside the heart. Think about Noah's time. People were eating, drinking, getting married, business as usual. Jesus said the last days would look just like that. Luke 17:26-30. In other words, the greatest danger is not disaster, it's distraction. When life feels normal, people drop their guard. They think there's still time. But that's exactly when the spiritual temperature drops the fastest, because no one's watching for it. This is why many Christians, even with good intentions, end up ignoring the final sign. They confuse being informed with being transformed. They know Bible verses, attend conferences, follow end times teachers, but their love for God and for people quietly fades. It's like a house that looks beautiful outside but is freezing cold inside. They've got the prophecy chart but lost the fire on the altar. Spiritual blindness doesn't always look like rebellion. Sometimes it looks like being too busy, too entertained, too distracted to notice your own heart growing cold. Jesus warned that these days would be filled with noise and distraction, just like in the days of Lot and Noah. And when you're spiritually numb, you stop recognizing the most important signs, including the nature of the one that's already active. This final sign isn't loud. It doesn't come with flashing lights or breaking news. It comes like a quiet filter, separating hearts in silence. It's not about how many sermons you've heard or how often you go to church. It's about endurance, burning love, and daily vigilance. Jesus described it perfectly in the parable of the 10 virgins. Some kept their oil, others let their lamps go out. That oil isn't optional. It's the very thing that keeps you lit while the world grows dark. The nature of this sign is deeply personal. It reveals who's truly watching and who's just assuming they'll be ready when the time comes. Vigilance isn't a passive posture, it's a lifestyle. It looks like prayer when you're tired, kindness when it's inconvenient, staying pure when compromise is easy. It's what happens in the quiet, not on the stage. That's why it's so powerful. It can't be faked for long. Jesus never said the final sign would be dramatic. He said it would be a matter of the heart. Love that grows cold is invisible to the crowd, but obvious to God. Endurance can't be microwaved. It's built in the mundane. Staying awake spiritually is a daily decision. It's not about shouting Maranatha online. It's about living like the bridegroom could walk in today. This sign isn't theatrical, it's surgical. And because it's so subtle, so internal, it's already separating people without them even realizing it. One person is drawing closer to God quietly, faithfully, while another is slowly drifting, though still showing up at church. That's the true dividing line. And if we open our eyes, we'll see clear evidence that this quiet filter, the final sign, is already active right now. You don't have to be a prophet to see it. Just look around. Churches once packed with passion are now struggling to keep people awake, much less engaged. Conversations that used to be about spiritual growth are now dominated by trends, politics, and entertainment. People aren't openly denying the faith. They're simply drifting, slowly, quietly. And that's what makes this sign so dangerous. It spreads without noise, like a spiritual frost over the soul. We see believers walking away from their calling, not because of persecution, but because of comfort. When faith becomes optional, convenience becomes king. Social media is full of Christian influencers with no fruit, no fire, just fancy quotes. Meanwhile, the ones truly watching, truly loving, are fewer and often unnoticed. This quiet division is happening right now. The oil in the lamp is running low for many, and they don't even know it. Look at how easy it is today to find a church where no one talks about repentance, holiness, or the return of Jesus. The message is often watered down to avoid discomfort. But discomfort is exactly what wakes people up. Jesus never promised comfort. He promised a cross. And this generation, in many ways, is trading the cross for convenience. That trade is the evidence that the final sign is already here. The scariest part? Many believe they're fine. They think they're awake, but they're spiritually sleepwalking. The line between watchers and wanderers is becoming clearer. And if this sign is already active, and it is, then ignoring it is like hitting the snooze button on eternity. But what actually happens to those who keep sleeping through this final wake-up call? When someone ignores a warning, it's usually because they believe they still have time. That's exactly the mindset Jesus warned about. Those who overlook this final sign are living like time is unlimited, as if there will always be another chance, another sermon, another Sunday. But the parable of the foolish virgins shatters that illusion. They knew the bridegroom was coming, but they still weren't ready. Knowing isn't enough. Preparation is everything. What's even more alarming is that those who were left out weren't rebels or atheists. They were believers. They were part of the group. They had lamps. They expected the bridegroom, but they lacked the oil, the inner reality of a living, burning relationship with God. That's what makes this sign a divine separation. It's not about church attendance or Bible knowledge. It's about fire, endurance, and love that refuses to die. To ignore this sign is to risk eternal regret, not because God failed to warn, but because people chose comfort over urgency. The window of grace doesn't stay open forever. When the door was shut in the parable, it didn't reopen. That should send chills down anyone's spine. This isn't fear-mongering, it's biblical truth. And truth always demands a response. To do nothing is already a choice. This final sign isn't just a warning, it's a sorting process already happening. It's not just a message to consider, it's a moment to wake up. Those who miss it aren't just distracted, they're being sifted out. And the only way to avoid being part of that number is to recognize the sign and respond now, before the moment passes. So what does it look like to truly respond to this final warning? This is the moment to stop everything and ask, is my love still alive, or has it grown cold? It's a hard question, but a necessary one. Real spiritual life isn't measured by busyness or outward activity. It's measured by the condition of your heart when no one's watching. Are you burning for God or just coasting on autopilot? That's the difference between those who are taken and those left behind. Perseverance isn't just enduring hard times. It's staying faithful when it's easier to drift. It's choosing prayer over scrolling, scripture over opinion, forgiveness over offense. Simple things, yes, but deeply powerful. Start with something practical today. Set aside 15 minutes daily just to be with God. No distractions. Read Psalm 51. Ask for a renewed heart, and watch what happens when you make space for Him. Watching doesn't mean sitting on a hill waiting for the sky to split. It means living with urgency. It means guarding your oil, keeping your lamp full, staying awake. That might look like fasting once a week, unplugging from worldly noise, or realigning your priorities around eternity. It also means surrounding yourself with others who are awake too. Fire stays alive best when it's not alone. The final sign is not going to wait for the crowd to catch on. It's not holding for majority approval. It's moving now, and every day that passes is one less day to respond. But the beautiful thing is, if you're reading this, it means there's still time. Not to panic, but to prepare. And preparation is what leads us to the ultimate realization of what Jesus really meant in His final warning. If the final sign Jesus pointed to is already active, what are you doing about it? Are you burning with love, or barely flickering? Are you